Well, hey, Calvary, my name is Clarence, and I'm happy to be with all of you today. I want to share a brief story with you, if I may. I can recall roughly 4 years ago, I was privileged to go to Israel. And one of the most memorable moments I had while being in the land was when our whole entire group went out into a boat, sailed out into the middle of the Sea of Galilee, and talked about Jesus calming the storm from Matthew chapter 8. What really made this whole entire scenario even more memorable is that while we're on the boat hearing this story, you can start to see storm clouds slowly starting to come in. So you're seeing like dark clouds coming in. You're feeling the wind starting to pick up and the water's kind of swaying alongside with the wind. And even our boat was kind of swaying a little bit as well. But even as the boat was doing all this, each and every one of us on the boat, we weren't dismayed or we weren't fearful because the very boat we were in was anchored. We weren't worried about the boat kind of shifting or kind of just moving alongside with the wind, but the very vessel we were in was anchored. When I think about this Advent season and when I think of Israel specifically as they've endured suffering and exile, for over 400 years of silence from the Lord and living a life that doesn't nowhere reflect the covenant in which God made with David about a dynasty and a lineage coming from them, hope was the very thing that anchored them during those tough times. Hope in the very covenant that God made with David would actually be fulfilled, even though no one during this time actually occupied the throne from his lineage. Hope that the very promises and prophecies from Isaiah, which talks about a virgin giving birth to a son and how the government would rest upon his shoulders and how he would be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace, would actually be fulfilled. In those moments of suffering and silence, hope was the very thing that anchored them, having them to look forward to a better and a brighter future. Even as we think of ourselves as we're enduring suffering and we're enduring silence and we're enduring the storms of our lives, dealing with COVID, the brokenness of sin, brokenness of relationships, suffering, the evil that's all around us, hope is the very thing that anchors each and every one of us, just as Israel. See, Advent is this reminder that hope is fulfilled in the birth of Jesus Christ, who comes in the very lineage of David and fulfills all the promises and prophecies of the Old Testament, including being Emmanuel, God with us. But it's also this reminder that this same Jesus who came breaking into earth and literally the fulfillment of hope for all of Israel, dying for the sins of all humanity, will come again and fulfill the very hope each and every one of us have today, that suffering, death, sin, and evil will be defeated once and for all. See, hope awaits and endures with assurance that God's promises and prophecies will be fulfilled. And I know it's incredibly difficult as you see the storm clouds rolling in, as you feel the wind begin to pick up and the lifeboat begins to rock just so fiercely. But may this Advent season encourage each and every one of you to anchor yourselves in our living hope. A hope that promises never to disappoint. A hope that will soon come and calm any storms of suffering any of you may be enduring. A hope that promises each and every one of us a better and a brighter future.